The Great Escape of Buddy. 12-year-old Emma lived in a small town by the coast, and she was known for having two things that always kept her busy: her pet rabbit, Buddy, and her vivid imagination. Emma and Buddy were practically inseparable. The rabbit was fluffy white and had the most ridiculous-looking little mustache, which made him look like he was ready for a pirate adventure at any given moment. His long ears were often flopped over, and he had a knack for getting into trouble, especially when Emma wasn't paying attention. One Saturday afternoon, Emma was busy in her room, drawing sketches of her imaginary world full of pirates, dragons, and mysterious treasure maps. She'd been working on it for weeks, and today was the day she was going to add the finishing touches. But as she drew a large, swirling whirlpool on the map, she heard a noise from the living room, a thud followed by a faint scraping sound. Emma paused, holding her pencil midair. She furrowed her brow and listened closely. The sound came again, this time accompanied by a faint squeak. "Buddy," Emma called out, her voice tinged with suspicion. She quickly got up from her desk and ran to the living room, only to find that the usually calm rabbit was nowhere to be seen. The living room door was wide open. Emma's heart skipped a beat. Buddy was out on one of his adventures again. She could already picture the mess he was making somewhere in the house. Sure enough, as she walked down the hallway, Emma found the little rabbit halfway under the couch, his fluffy tail sticking out like a white flag of surrender. His little black eyes peeked out, wide and guilty. The scraping sound was coming from the living room's rug, which Buddy was now trying to gnaw on. "Buddy, what have I told you about the rug?" Emma sighed. "You know it's not food, right?" Buddy didn't respond. He only gave her the most innocent look he could muster before hopping behind the couch and out of sight. Emma knew that look. It was the same look he gave her every time he got into something he wasn't supposed to. "I'm going to have to do something about this," Emma muttered to herself. She'd had enough of these little escapes, and she was determined to stop him from ruining another rug, or worse, disappearing into the great outdoors. Emma rushed to the kitchen, where she had left some carrots for Buddy's snack. She grabbed a few, thinking that if she could lure him into his cage with treats, she might prevent a repeat of today's little adventure. But as she turned around to head back to the living room, something even more troubling caught her eye. Her front door, was wide open. "Oh no," Emma gasped. Her heart sank. Buddy had managed to unlock the door somehow. He was probably out there somewhere, causing chaos in the yard, or worse, making a run for the woods. Emma bolted out of the house, calling for her pet. "Buddy, here, boy, come back." But there was no sign of him. She checked around the yard, looking behind bushes and under the swing set. Still nothing. Panic started to settle in, but then Emma heard something. It was a soft, low thump, thump, thump coming from the far corner of the yard. She hurried toward the noise, hoping it was Buddy. And there he was, sitting on top of the garden shed, as if he had just completed a daring climb, looking rather pleased with himself. "Buddy," Emma called, shaking her head in disbelief. "What on earth are you doing up there? Get down this instant." But Buddy was clearly enjoying his little adventure. He twitched his nose, then hopped down from the shed with an impressive leap. "That's it," Emma said, rolling her eyes. "I'm calling a truce. You win this time." Buddy didn't seem to care much for Emma's frustration. He happily hopped toward her, tail twitching, as if to say, "You can't stop me. I'm a rabbit. A free spirit." Emma couldn't help but laugh. Despite the mess and the minor panic attack, she had to admit that Buddy had a certain charm. Maybe he didn't mean to be so mischievous. He was just following his instincts, curious and always seeking out a new challenge. "I guess you're a pirate at heart, aren't you, Captain?" Emma chuckled, bending down to scoop him up into her arms. "You'll need to be more careful with your adventures from now on, though. I can't keep rescuing you every time you escape." Back inside the house, Emma sat down with Buddy on her lap, shaking her head. "All right, Captain," she said, stroking his soft fur. "No more outdoor adventures for you, okay? I can't have you getting into trouble every time the doors open." Buddy seemed content to relax in her arms, as if to say, "I'll consider it, but no promises."